Ms. Rogers, I can't stand these fluorescent lights they have in classrooms. They're so bright, they hurt. Yep, I hate them too. Why can't we just go back to using those lamps that you had instead? They were so much better. That would be because you and your friends broke them. What? I didn't break anything. Yeah, there were times where you and your friends kept throwing things at each other, even though I asked you not to and you ignored me, and lamps were hit and crashed onto the floor, or when you were trying to toss things into the trash can from across the room that I also asked you not to do and you ignored me, and they hit lamps and they crashed to the floor, or when you and your friends were roughhousing and I asked you not to, but you ignored me and you knocked them over and they crashed to the floor. Yeah, they're all broken. Okay, well, are you gonna buy new ones? Do I look like I'm just made of money? Well, why don't you guys buy me some new lamps? Well, it's not our job to fund your classroom. You guys broke the original lamps. Allegedly. Oh, of course, it's not like I or the rest of the class saw these things happen or anything. Are you accusing me of something? I'm answering your question as to why we have to use the fluorescent lights in the ceiling instead of the lamps we had before. So you're really not gonna buy more lamps? Why would I do that when I'm not only still teaching the kids who broke the first ones, but y'all won't even take accountability to ensure it doesn't happen again? Oh, so you can buy more lamps, you're just choosing not to. Typical teachers. I don't get paid enough.
One of the most dangerous animals in Africa are actually hippos.
Oh, I know. Oh, yeah, no, they're scary.
They are. They're crazy.
They're wild. They sprint underwater.
They can move 30 miles an hour on land. Like
that's crazy.
It's like Usain Bolt, the fastest Olympic sprinter, I believe, can go 27 miles an hour. So at a full speed gallop, a hippo, it looks like a VW bus.
Oh my God.
30 miles an hour. We spoofed one. It came out of the bushes in Africa, and it was just like, is it going to charge us? Or are we going to die? and luckily we just kind of sat down, and it just decided it got bored and just kind of.
Really? Because they can be very territorial. That's so scary. There are not many things that in this world that scare me that should. Like a lion, I'd be like, oh my God, baby, your cat. I love cats. If not friend, why friend shape?
Exactly.
A hippo? Oh, I'm gone.
I can't tell if I've been oblivious this whole time or if this person is gaslighting me, but someone told me that when you say someone works a 9 to 5, like they're working a 9 to 5, that it's not talking about their schedule, like they work 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's referring to the fact that they work 9 hours a day, 5 days a week. Is this real or am I being punked right now? I thought it was an 8-hour work. I'm so confused.
What are some other very basic things that you would teach beginners for surviving in the wilderness?
So I usually want people to understand 3 things before they go. I want you to understand how to prioritize, what things are actually important if you get stuck. One of the big mistakes people make right away is to kind of panic and just try to get out. Just try to escape. If you're scared, if things are going wrong, instead of just trying to escape, slow down and try to work on what you can do, even if it's small stuff, to stay alive. If you are lost and you are trying to figure out what to do first as far as priorities, the priorities are this. The first thing you're doing is slowing down and doing a safety check or dealing with stuff that comes up. It's like making sure you understand the situation. If there's anything first aiding in the situation, it's high priority. It's one of the biggest killers outdoors, just first aid stuff. So be prepared with the first aid kit, be ready to respond, deal with that sort of stuff. Next thing you deal with is temperature. The next biggest killer for lost hikers, they call it exposure, which is just getting too hot or too cold and stressing out your body. The next statistical big killer isn't one that people pay attention to a lot. It's actually rest management. So people getting too tired puts them in that fatigue state where they're more likely to make mistakes or just get hurt.
Yeah.
After that, the next thing we're looking at is water. You have about 3 days. You can go without water before things get weird. And the last thing is food. You go 30 days without eating and still be a functional human being. I want you to learn how to pack an emergency bag so that you have the gear with you. You don't have to scramble around the woods for stuff. You should have stuff in your car or in your suitcase. And then the last thing is understanding how to activate search and rescue. If you don't have a cell phone or you don't have signal, there should already be a plan in place that helps that to happen already.
Do you have a health tip that could save someone's life in an emergency?
If you're ever exposed to a chemical, if a chemical sprays you in the eye, no matter what it is, the treatment is always the same, and it's flushing. So literally just tap water. I mean, the best thing is to use sterile normal saline or whatever, but the damage is done by the second, and it actually is worse for your eyes if you do nothing and wait the 20 minutes or 30 minutes that it takes to get to the emergency department or 10 or whatever it is, which is the most important first thing is to instantly flush out your eyes from that chemical. That's actually like what we do the minute that you get to the ER. There are certain things that we try to rule out, like a hole in the eyeball or something.
Right, of
Besides
course.
that, we pretty much instantaneously just start flooding your eyes. So you can do the same treatment that we can do by just flushing your eyes with water. And then, I mean, you can even call 911 so they can come and get you to the hospital super fast after that.
I was on a trip and some guys decided to run off and get lost. They were
Oh no.
military types, which is complicated. So military guys have a lot of skills, but when they sometimes step outside their normal specific skill sets, they're all confident. They're like, I don't need the map. I don't need my backup.
Yeah, of course.
And so these guys run off on a primitive trip and they get ahead of the group and they just bolt off and they get lost because they thought they knew where they were going and they didn't. Starts to snow and sleet, even though it's like close to summer. It's just Utah weather. It's getting crazy. We get to where we're at, like supposed to be with the rest of the group, and these guys are just not there. Like, we have to go out and look for them. We're basically out all night looking for these guys, walking through the snow. It's a primitive, so like even just it's nothing but the clothes on our back sort of set up, and we had some emergency gear for if you get lost, which these guys left and didn't take. They left it with
Of course not.
They left it with one of the guy's brothers. It's like, why do you have your brother's emergency kit? So I was out for like 12 hours walking in like snow and sleet. And if you're moving, you can stay kind of warm, even if you're kind of soaked through. But I hit a patch around 5 a.m. And so then we had to like make a survival fire, and like I'm stripping bark off the bottom of these like wet trees. Our outside team came in with their car and was able to kind of move us over, and they found the other guys found the guys, and it all worked out.
Sometimes I feel like my life is being written by someone who isn't sure how they feel about me. Like, isn't sure if they like me or don't like me. And if they're unsure at this point, I don't know how to fix that.
Steve Jobs had a certain type of pancreatic cancer that potentially was survivable with modern medical treatment, surgery. And instead, he spent, I don't even remember how long, fighting it with diet alone. And by the time he finally decided, okay, we're going to have surgery, we're going to, allow modern medicine to treat this cancer, it was too late. I'm all about taking personal responsibility for treating your high blood pressure, your high cholesterol, obesity. Take ownership of that. And that is the much better route than having to be on pills, etc. Cancer, different situation.
Yeah.
Do not try to fight cancer
holistically.
There is what we call like complementary medicine, where yes, you can go down that route of eating certain, cancer fighting foods that maybe have not shown to have a significant effect on the long-term outcomes of the cancer once it's in your body, but they've showed like in a lab that it might have this or that effect. Great, do all that, but don't be afraid to simultaneously get treated the way that we've seen 30,000 people with this cancer, 100,000 people with this cancer, 500,000 people with this cancer have better outcomes.
Exactly.
So simultaneously do what's right for your body outside of the hospital and inside the hospital. Again, it doesn't have to be an or situation. It can be an and situation.
What is like the most dangerous situation you found yourself in?
There was a time when I was first guiding at 20 years old. It was one of those primitive trips. And so we were trying to cross a stretch of Arizona. There was a time when we were trying to get to the next location. And it was like, we can either go around this big kind of mountain system, spend 2 days doing it, or we can climb over this series of cliffs and cut like a day off of our route. And so we decided to do this. The thing was, we were climbing cliffs without ropes. These are 100-foot cliffs. The guys started climbing up one section, and then I saw some fire materials down the side of the canyon, so I went down there to go get those. And then I was going to head back and climb the same way, but I saw another section of cliff, and I was like, this looks easier. So I started going up, and I get about 95% of the way up the cliff. I got 5 feet from the top, and I look up, and it's just like flat. There's nothing to grab. It was not something I could go down. Like it was just not stable. And so I'm like 100 feet up in the air, and I got 5 feet to go, and I'm on this little tiny like triangle ledge that's barely kind of like inverted, so I can push my hands on it, but it's all smooth, and I'm just kind of stuck in my pack. It's all tied on. I can't drop it because it's tied on with rope, and if I let my